Imagine a man logging into social media today, and within minutes, he's banned. Not for hate speech, not for misinformation, not for violence, but for asking questions, relentless questions, uncomfortable questions, questions that expose insecurity, questions that dismantle false confidence, questions that strip away identity. That man lived 2,400 years ago. His name was Socrates, and if he were alive today, he wouldn't be cancelled for what he believed. He would be cancelled for what he revealed. Because Socrates had a dangerous gift. He could expose the ego, and in 2026, the ego runs the world, the age of performance. Look around. We are living in the most connected era in human history. And yet, never have people felt more uncertain about who they are. We curate versions of ourselves daily. Filtered faces, polished opinions, carefully crafted captions, strategic vulnerability. We don't just live anymore. We perform. We perform intelligence. We perform morality. We perform success. We perform depth. And slowly, without realizing it, the performance becomes the identity. But here's the problem. The ego cannot survive without an audience. And when your sense of self depends on external validation, you are no longer free. Socrates would look at this world and quietly ask, "Do you know who you are?" without the applause. The most dangerous man in Athens, Socrates, was not powerful. He had no wealth, no political office, no written books, no official position of authority. He walked barefoot through Athens. He spent his days in public squares. And he asked questions, that's all. But those questions were weapons. When politicians claimed wisdom, he asked for definitions. When poets claimed inspiration, he asked for clarity. When generals claimed courage, he asked what courage truly meant. And one by one, their certainty collapsed. Because Socrates understood something terrifying. Most people do not fear being wrong. They fear being exposed. The ego's favorite illusion. The ego thrives on certainty. I know. I'm right. I figured it out. My side is correct. My identity defines me. Certainty feels safe. It gives structure. It gives belonging. It gives superiority. But Socrates lived by a radically different principle. I know that I do not know. This wasn't false humility. It was intellectual courage. He understood that admitting ignorance is the beginning of wisdom. Today, ignorance is hidden. We Google quickly. We skim headlines. We repeat talking points. We defend opinions we've never deeply examined. And when someone questions us, we don't reflect. We react. Because the ego sees questioning as attack. But Socrates saw questioning as liberation, the silent crisis of identity. Here's the deeper issue. We don't just defend ideas anymore. We defend identities. Political identity, cultural identity, professional identity, online identity. If someone challenges our opinion, it feels like they're challenging our existence. And that's dangerous. Because once identity replaces inquiry, growth stops. Socrates didn't ask, "What do you represent?" He asked, "What is true?" He separated the person from the belief. But today, belief is fused with ego. So instead of dialogue, we get conflict. Instead of curiosity, we get outrage. Instead of growth, we get performance. And slowly, we forget how to think. Know thyself, the forgotten command. Above the temple of Apollo at Delphi were the words, "Know thyself," not "express yourself," not "promote yourself," not "brand yourself." Know yourself. This was the foundation of Socratic philosophy, self-examination, radical honesty, internal confrontation. Socrates believed that most people live mechanically, adopting beliefs from parents, absorbing values from culture, repeating opinions from society, but never truly examining them. Ask yourself, why do you want what you want? Why do you fear what you fear? Why does criticism hurt so much? Why does validation feel addictive? If your answer is silence, Socrates would smile, because that silence is where growth begins. Why the modern ego is exhausted. Here's something we rarely admit. The ego is tired. Constant comparison, constant self-promotion, constant defense, constant visibility. You are expected to have a stance on everything, an opinion on everything, a brand for everything. But the more you perform, the more disconnected you feel, because performance is external, but identity is internal. And when those two drift apart, anxiety grows. Socrates didn't chase visibility. He chased clarity. He wasn't interested in appearing wise. He was obsessed with becoming wise. There's a difference. One feeds ego, the other feeds soul. The courage to be wrong. Imagine entering every conversation with this mindset. I might be mistaken. How different would your relationships be? How different would public discourse look? Socrates entered dialogue expecting to discover his own ignorance, and that's why he was powerful. Because a person who is not attached to being right cannot be manipulated, they cannot be flattered into stupidity, they cannot be threatened into conformity, they cannot be provoked into ego battles. The ego sees being wrong as humiliation. Socrates saw being wrong as progress. Today, being wrong feels fatal. A misstep can be amplified. A mistake can define you. So we double down. We defend harder. We refuse to admit. And slowly, the ego becomes a prison. The trial that changed everything. Eventually, Athens had enough. Socrates was accused of corrupting the youth, of questioning traditional beliefs, of challenging authority. But what he truly corrupted was ego. He forced people to confront their ignorance, and they hated him for it. At his trial, he had a chance to save himself. He could have flattered the jury. He could have softened his tone. He could have apologized for questioning too much. He refused. He chose integrity over survival. He drank the hemlock and died for the right to question. Ask yourself honestly, would you sacrifice reputation for truth? Would you sacrifice comfort for integrity? Or does your ego protect itself at all costs? The mirror. We avoid Socrates would not shout at you. He would not insult you. He would not argue aggressively. He would ask, why does disagreement upset you? Why does criticism feel threatening? Why do you need to be seen? Why do you need to win? Why do you need to prove? And in those questions, you would see yourself clearly, and clarity is uncomfortable, because sometimes we discover we don't want truth, we want approval, we don't want growth, we want comfort, we don't want wisdom, we want validation. And that is the modern tragedy, reclaiming yourself from the ego. So how do we apply Socrates today? Not by rejecting ambition, not by rejecting technology, but by practicing internal questioning. Before you post, ask why. Before you argue, ask what you truly know. Before you react, ask what you're defending. Detach identity from opinion. Allow evolution. Admit uncertainty. Create silence in your life. Because without silence, you cannot hear yourself think. And without thought, you cannot know yourself. And without knowing yourself, you are easily shaped by everything around you. That is how people lose themselves, not suddenly, but gradually, through unexamined living. The final challenge. Socrates said, the unexamined life is not worth living. Today we live in an age where the unadvertised life feels invisible, but invisibility is not emptiness, silence is not weakness, humility is not insecurity. The strongest person in the room is not the loudest, it is the one who can question themselves without collapsing. So tonight, before you sleep, ask yourself one uncomfortable question and sit with the answer, without distraction, without defense, without performance. Because the battle is not between you and the world, it is between you and your ego. If this made you pause, if it made you uncomfortable, good. That means you're thinking, and that's where freedom begins. Subscribe to Timeless Mindset, where ancient philosophy meets modern self-mastery. Comment below. What belief have you never questioned? And remember, the most dangerous thing in society is not power. It's a human being who truly knows themselves. I'll see you in the next one.